Hey, it's Thom for JAK, and I'm checking out the Chrissie Hynde Telecaster signature model from Fender. So this is the Chrissie Hynde Telecaster. It's got some really cool appointments on it which make it more in line with what you'd expect to see from someone like Chrissie Hynde. If you're not familiar with who she is the guitarist and singer in a band called The Pretenders. Go and Google them if you're not aware, but I'm sure most of you will be aware because their listenership is enormous. So in terms of the guitar we have, it's actually a really cool throwback to some of those sort of vintagey style specs, but with some modern appointments which you'd expect from something that's coming out in a modern way. So if we start with the neck, we have a maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard, which is really nice and classic. We've got 21 vintage tool frets. So these are slightly different to what you'd expect on other models from Fender. They're really easy to play on. You know, they are that vintage tool vibe, which means it's quite easy to grab notes and things. And they're not overly wide, which is also just one of those things to keep an eye out for. In terms of the neck radius, we've got something a little bit different from Fender. Instead of a normal 9.5 inch radius, which you'd expect on most Fender models, you've actually got a 7.25 inch radius, which means it's a little bit more round than you'd expect in comparison to like a normal Fender, but it makes it really easy to grab those chords. You've got a nice curvature for the hand, and when that's paired with the mid-60s neck profile on the back, it just makes some of those like chord-based things just that little bit easier. It's really nice to play. We've got a lacquered neck on this to bring it in line with some of those vintage style specs, and we've got Fender's own locking tuners on the top, which means that string changing is now a breeze, which makes it a bit more modern. For the body, we have an older body, and this is finished in the blue color that you'd expect from Chrissie Hynde. She's been known for playing like a blue Telecaster for forever. So with this guitar, they've done something called the Fender Road Worn finish treatment on it. So you're getting some of that finish checking on there. You can see potentially on the camera that the finish has begun to crack a little bit. And on the mirrored pickguard, there's some wear as if it's already been played for a long time, which is just really cool. It really brings that sort of vintage vibe to the instrument. In terms of the pickups, we've got vintage style 50s pickups from Fender. These are single coils. They do that classic Fender single coil sound, which is just fantastic. It does a lot of spanky tones. That middle position does all of those like Fender-y cleans that you'd expect. And the bridge has got plenty of bite if you're playing with some overdrive. There's also another thing with this guitar which makes it slightly interesting. The bridge has got stainless steel saddles, and there's 6 of them instead of being like a vintage style thing. So that's going to be one of the modern appointments. There's still sort of that vintage style. You know, the ones that you can put 2 strings on, and there's 3 saddles. This one's got 6 of them. These ones are stainless steel, so they shouldn't wear out as much. And then you've got that ashtray style bridge. So the guitar has that mix of those vintage style appointments, and then you're getting some of those modern things like, you know, sturdier hardware, locking tuners, just to give you a little bit more playability. It's just going to be a little bit easier to play. So that was the Chrissie Hynde Telecaster. I think this guitar is great. I had a really good time playing it. It's kind of got all those vintage things you'd expect from like a vintage style instrument, but with those modern playability things, which just make it a little bit easier to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So you've got really quick string changing with those locking tuners, which is really great to see. We've got stainless steel saddles, which is going to mean that it's not going to wear down as much, but still has vintage style frets. It's got a lacquered neck on it, so if you enjoy that feeling, you're going to enjoy this. And we've got those vintage style 50s pickups in there as well, which just make it just a really versatile instrument if you're going for something vintage inspired, but you want some modern features. But let us know what you think in the comments. Do you enjoy Chrissie Hynde's music? Do you enjoy this guitar? Would you own one? Yeah, let us know. If you enjoyed the video, please leave us a like, subscribe to see more things like this, and we'll see you in the future.